Dogs socialize like this. Environment change being one. So they may behave perfectly well in your living room, but a basket case out in your driveway. So that's an environment stage. On top of that, there's indirect presence. Don't worry about writing it down. We'll talk about it in a bit. Then there's direct presence of stimuli and confrontational presence. Remember those 4 things. So currently, in week 1, puppies are born. Where were they before they were born? Sitting inside this nice little warm belly, didn't have to crawl, didn't have to do anything, didn't have to struggle to survive. Would you agree? Right. So you're in a sheltered world. They're dropped from their mom. Their sack is ripped open. She slaps them around a little bit, cleans them all up, licks them, and hopes they're going to eat. How stressful is that? Right. They're in environment change. Now let's look at this. Just remember, we're now in the environmental change of socialization. All right, ready? Who goes to who? All right, so we've gotten the answer. Pups go to mom. How many times in that first day have you gone to your dog? In that first week? Tell me. Gone up to pet it. Or not, okay, just don't get ahead of it. Just hold on. How many of you guys have gone to your dog in that first week of life? So right from the get-go, you don't know what you're doing. Remember, who conducts themselves this way? Who knows about this? Who knows best? Right. Why do they go there? Why do the pups go to the mother? Food and affection. So how many times have you brought the food bowl to your dog? How many times? In that first week that you've had it. Here you go. It's a natural phenomenon. How many times do you think we did it? Let's say 3 times a day for 7 days. You failed 21 times. How the hell do you gain your credibility back when that's already going on? And then I want you to think how many times you went up and said, oh, you're such a cute dog. Oh, you're so sweet. I'm just so happy to have you. You really think you're going to be happy about owning a jerk like this? No. I had to make him good. Okay? All right. How long do they feed for? In that duration. They've got stomachs the size of dimes. How long do you think they're going to eat off of their mother for? How long do you think it takes to fill milk up into a dime? 5 to 15 minutes. How many of you guys have had your dog with you, coddling and stroking it for more than 5 to 15 minutes? Let me see. I bet you some of them had them in the bed with them. Why are you smiling? You had your dog in your bed? Does your dog sleep with you now? Does your dog sleep with you now? Okay, good. Did he? Oh, okay. So the progressives told you that you should try to simulate what? The nursing box? Oh, wait till you see what happens in here, really. What happens to the puppy that is anxious, fearful, and can't find its way to mom? Because this is where you guys are going to have a real problem with this, and this is where you've really screwed up. Tell me. That puppy that cannot find its way, screams, and can't focus, what happens to it? It what? It dies. Mom leaves it behind. So for being anxious, fearful, and unfocused, you get no affection. So tell me what you guys are doing with these anxious, fearful, and unfocused dogs. What are you doing with them? Right. So again, you don't know what you're doing according to them. Anxious and fearful, die. So if a mother can neglect her own child, what the hell is your problem? Oh, I get it. You're needy. You didn't get love for the last week from your partner, so you need it from that poor dog. Is that it? Is that it? Yes or no? Do the puppies walk straight or do they push each other around? What do you think they do? Huh? No, not in the first week. They're very non-invasive, if you want to call it that. So they walk dead straight. They don't bully any of it off. They find their way. Whatever one latches on, the other one will latch on next to it. They're polite, politically correct, if you want to call it. Non-invasive, non-challenging. How many of you guys have said sit to that dog in the first week that you've had it? And how many times? What, are you desperate? Really? I get a kick out of people that take somebody's dog and go, sit, 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 7 times. Dog looks at them like you're an absolute complete jerk. After all, ladies, if I were to take you out on a date and lay all the rules down in 5 minutes, don't chew gum in my car, don't smoke in my car, I hate mayo, we're not going to McDonald's, and I definitely don't walk in the park. How far are you going to go with me, Shauna? Where? You're going to try to get the hell out of there. Why? Why, Wendy? Why would you leave? You must think I'm a creep, no? Right. So you start telling that dog to sit in that first week, are you a creep? Or are you a kook? Absolutely. These are all natural things, but non-invasive. After these puppies eat, do you think they crawl under mommy's belly? No. They crawl away into a little corner huddled up together. I.e., one room now becomes a smaller room, which is a crate. How many people here have trouble using crates? Or never have? Or don't have their dog in the crate that's not totally behaved yet? Or maybe gave it the freedom of life real fast? Yeah, what do you got? You got an asshole. Okay? The crate is used. Does mom stay in that box with them, or do you think she lays out? Say what? She leaves. She lays out. So, that would be like her laying here. Do you think the puppies can see mom? How many of you guys have got a dog put in a crate and stuck it in the basement or in a room with the door closed? Well, you have. You've worked with me. You have. You've worked with me. How about everybody else? Huh? Right. Why do you do that? Well, let's look. People say to me, I say to them, I'm going to put the dog in a basement with the lights out when I first get the dog. Oh, you are an absolutely cruel individual. How could you do that? Think. How was that dog born? Eyes open or closed? Why do you think a predator is born with its eyes closed? Huh? To use his nose and his ears. And 2, I want you to tell me how stressful it is to run around blindly, hearing all kinds of sounds and trying to find your mother. So have you instilled confidence in your dog by using its senses, or you've made it rely on its eyes? Its weakest gene. Right there, if you didn't do it, you've humanized that dog from day one. You feeling miserable yet? Anybody? How about guilty? Is anyone guilty? Remember, we have no guilt or remorse. All right. Does the mother, in that first week of life, allow strangers to touch it? Those puppies. Does she pick them up and take them anywhere? Yes or no? So how many places did you go to, and how many strangers did that little freak tell you to do in that first 2 weeks of life? The bottom, allow no strangers. No human, no people, no strangers. What would happen, let's say, if Trinka had puppies, and this is her brother, who is a strange dog, he's a pack member, let's forget it. Let me say Carla, who you'll see here tomorrow. They're related, but they don't like each other. Or they tolerate each other. And Carla were to walk into Trinka's room with her puppies. Do you guys know what would happen? It would be a bloodbath. These are 2 strong-willed bitches. They're both half-sisters. So how many dogs did your dog meet in that first week of life with you? Please elaborate. Did you go to the dog park? Did you go for that walk down the sidewalk and a dog sniffed it? What'd you do? How many have actually made their dogs meet dogs in the first week that they've had it? Oh, good one. What'd you get, Shauna? Huh? Good. What do you have now, Sam? Every time you tell that dog to do something, if I remember correctly, what was she saying to you? I'll tell you what she was saying to you. You guys figure this out. GFY. How's it feel that you're being told that by something that you're feeding and cleaning up after? Feel good? Ready? How do we transfer this to training? Number one, here where the squares come into play. This is my whelping box. The puppies will sit still in here. I do not proceed with any dog till it is willing to sit still here. Do I tell it to sit still, Shauna? Why? What am I teaching it by just standing here and letting it sort it? I'm giving it away. Let it sort it out on its own. Let it absorb the environment and see whether that, because a dog that's not willing to sit down is a dog that's not willing to be vulnerable. And a dog that's not willing to be vulnerable is a dog that's lacking in confidence. So i.e., without putting mine up, what have these guys been doing all morning in this strange place? Sleeping. After all, if you can sleep anywhere, what does that say about you? Afraid of nothing. All right. If you look at the mother, she regulates the box. What is the only operation that you do? Ready? Come to me for food, and I will give you a pat without any pressure. We'll sit still for a while. I'll say nothing to you. You'll say nothing to me, and we're just going to chill out. I.e., you ready? The coffee house and the private booth, your first date, a cup of coffee, and don't say a whole lot other than when somebody asks you a question. And don't do it too long where you run out of words to say, because then you start talking about yourself only and you become a creep. Right, ladies? Okay? Short, brief stints. Dog is tired. It's stressed out from the environment change. There are no dogs, no people. You do it in your backyard. Nowhere else. Why? If a dog is stressed out with an environment change, and you keep moving it around before it's adjusted to one environment, tell me what you've imprinted. So I'm anxious at home. Now I'm going to go to the driveway, and I'm anxious here. Now they're going to take me to the park, and he's anxious here. And they're going to meet another dog, and anxious and defensive here. Then they're going to meet the neighbor who's going to give me 17 biscuits, and I'm anxious here. What have you actually imprinted? Everywhere you go is anxiety. What do you got? Basket case? Sure. Very simply put.